No, I don't think that, I think that if they were going to come forward with that in an attempt to stop this, it would have already been done. Okay. To my knowledge, no.
So far, Sam, they need the signature of the debtor.
So far, they would need the signature of the debtor.
They're eliminating that.
So here comes my friend.
Okay.
Maybe something would clarify understanding the difference between holder and holder in due course. The definition the UCC gives on holder in due course is that party who holds the device with a right to claim its use and its properties. Okay? While the government may hold the birth certificate, which they do and they have done since birth, since they received that instrument, they've never had the right to use it. Although they do use it, we know that they bond against it. But once we step forward, we are the rightful owner and we are the holder in due course, and we have the right to make that claim. That's why we accept it for value. That's why we claim that. That's why once we step forward and accept it, it no longer is even in, although it's physically in the possession of the government, we now have it by registration. That's why we file the UCC-1 and claim it, making us the holder in due course. So the government never has an opportunity or never has the capacity to make lien against it.
That's correct.
If that clears up any.
Does that help? See, he's so much better at it than I am.
Hello there, Jim Campbell from Las Vegas. I had two questions. Could you explain the importance of bracketing the zip code on your UCC-1 or on the mail, the postal zone? What is the how does that isolate that from your address?
Well,
or how does that work exactly?
I just do it if I use a zip code, which I rarely do. And I've only had one person at the post office tell me that I had to put one on there if they wanted her to deliver that. If I wanted her to deliver that mail, I better put a zip code on there. And so I accommodated her and I put it in a bracket. And there's it's like putting something in a box. There's a theory or a concept that if you put something in a box on a page, it doesn't appear on the page. I don't really care one way or another. I feel like that if somebody considers it significant, that's fine with me. I know people that don't do it. I know people that do it like I do. I've seen it done. I'm sure I haven't seen it done every way it could be done, but I've seen it done lots of different ways. So it's what everybody has is their own study, and I can't speak for them. I just speak for me.
One further question: how do you terminate the? You mentioned terminating the UCC-1. If you make a mistake, how do you do that?
You use a UCC-3.
Okay.
And you check the box termination.
Oh, okay. I was unfamiliar with the UCC-3.
Yeah. Well, we haven't got to the 3 yet.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Like most people, I've tried many different ways of things over the years. I've got 6 corporation souls. Is it better to put all my stuff back into my own name and then claim it on the UCC-1 and quit those? Or is it better to file a UCC-3 heavy lien against each one of them?
Okay, that's a good question. And when it comes to corporation souls and trusts, and people all over the country have asked me about that, and I do not get involved in that conversation. I do not understand those things. I have very, very little limited knowledge of them, and there are people that know infinitely more than I do about those things, and I can't even begin to comment on what you asked me. Those are personal preferences that you've done what you've done for a reason. About as far as I go, and I'm not trying to cast your question aside, I never deal with that because it's such an issue that I don't understand, and because I don't understand them, I won't stand under the question.
I've had some of these as much as 16 years.
Well,
I mean, it's
so. I mean, how could I possibly be qualified to comment on what you do? Yeah. You know more about it than I do. I would have to come and ask you a question. And so you know, about as far as I'll go is to deal with a simple corporate entity like I have. I refuse to get involved in a trust or any of that. The government has made no particular bones about it. They are coming after anybody that does a trust in any way, shape, or form.
I know you mentioned that yesterday, but
Yes.
would it probably be better than to just file a heavy lien against them?
Well, again, that would be out of your study and research. There are people that will say that the corporation sole is the absolute only way to go. I am not going to agree or disagree because I have no knowledge and I don't recall ever having any knowledge.
Thank you.
Hi. My question is, once you file the UCC1, you said that it files for 5 years.
Yes.
Okay, and then you said that if you wanted to like make a claim, for an instance, you said on a vehicle, you would put in your claim there on that also, and you'd be second in line. Now, what my question is if when this 5 years is over, if somebody else has put UCC1 through on something of yours and it expires after these 5 years, are they next in line, or do you still have the option to keep yourself first in line?
Very, very good question. Okay, that's an excellent question. There is a particular, and it varies from state to state, but there is a particular time frame. If you haven't done your filing as a transmitting utility, which I encourage everyone to do, if you do not get in that time frame and do a continuation filing,
6 months.
there's a 6-month window typically, yes, that which you do that in. If you get outside that filing, you get zapped because somebody gets in there before you do. Now, they still have to have, as of now, your signature, and when we figure out why they've done what they've done, then we'll make steps to deal with that. One of the guys that we study with all the time was actually in the UCC ongoing education school in New Jersey, where all the attorneys had gotten together and discussed these changes in the UCC. So we got insider information. We knew this was coming for the last 18 months. So it was real interesting. But to answer your question, you do that with a continuation filing on a UCC3, and you just mark the box continuation.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good question.
State of Washington does allow that utility open-ended
Yes.
filing.
They actually stamp it with a red utility stamp.
Right. My question is, I've got two. One of them is when you have a UCC1 that you filed, but you didn't put the financing statement with it, and then at a later point you're doing another UCC3 to file the financing statement. If you have more that should be on that UCC1, can you do a complete UCC1 and put a UCC3 on top? And just basically, essentially...
Wait a minute now. You're going to have to start over. Because, well, just restate your question and do it like this. Are you talking about a security agreement?
Yes.
Because a UCC1 is a financing statement.
Okay.
Okay, so please
I'm sorry, yeah.
distinguish between the two so I can follow you.
Okay, the UCC1 was filed, the financing statement. The security agreement was not attached at that time.
Okay?
Now, we're going to do a UCC3 to put the security agreement in place, but there are additional collateral items that probably should have been on the original UCC1. Can we basically regenerate the whole UCC1 and security agreement and use a UC3 as a filing cover document?
No, you don't need to. You just list on another sheet of paper or in the collateral box, you say the same thing. All you're saying is it would be, I don't have a 3 in here. What you're saying is that your UCC3 filing would be for the security agreement primarily. And then you could just say, see attached security agreement. Okay? And then you could list the other things that you're going to file at that same time.
But put them in the security agreement,
Well,
or attach them to the security agreement.
you can if you want. If you want to attach them into the security agreement, you can. I typically leave the security agreement alone. I let it stand on its own. Because I speak in the way I do it is I'm very general in my security agreement. I'm basically saying everything is mine. Then, when I do my separate filings, if I want to be specific, I can be. Yeah, is that an answer to your question?
Not really.
Oh.
I'll talk to you later about that. The second question I had was on when you see, one of the things we should put on the UCC one that we didn't is corporate held interest. And when you we need to put the corporation in there showing that we own it, that we have first position on our corporate holdings.
Well, are you? Let me ask you. So I'm assuming you have a corporation.
We have had one, yes.
Okay. Were you the stockholder?